We were just talking with Diggy about just this team's leadership. I wonder, on court, you got a bunch of veterans, guys who've played a ton of ball, but what do you think of the leadership overall? And then guys like him and Shaq and Zeke who have played so much college basketball but not Kansas basketball, how have they fit into the leadership?
I think I think it's a lot like the 08 team from a leadership standpoint, in that I could be honest with you, I couldn't tell you back then who was our leader. I thought everybody just collectively, pulled the rope. And I'd say this is a lot like that. You guys saw the other day on the court, Juan more so than anybody gives us stability. So I would say Juan, and KJ to me gives us energy more so than anybody else. And then Hunt would give us more of a presence. But I think everybody's done okay. I think it's an area that we can certainly get better at. I think that our guys would probably agree with that. Zeke in many ways has been a good leader, but Zeke's not the guy that should be the leader. He's the guy that should complement, the guys that are the leaders. And that's not being negative. That's just, that's just kind of where he is and personality wise and everything. So to me, Diggy, personality wise, has the most potential to be a good leader. He just hasn't had as many opportunities to play.
Do you have conversations with guys like that, especially those,
Yeah.
super senior types that have played a lot of ball? Here's how I see you fitting in.
Oh, yeah. We've talked a lot about that. No matter where you are in a new situation and how much experience you had, there's still some things that have to happen to validate your potential as a leader. And that would be probably performance related. And so maybe Diggy now, after seeing the ball go in the basket the other night, maybe he can have more of a role in that regard. Because there's still something to it, to being able to take over and get others to follow you is, been there, done it, they've seen you do it, and some of them just haven't been seen yet.
Coach, I think I've heard you mention this before, but does February 1st or this time of year hold a special point of emphasis for you in the ebb and flow of the season, second half of the conference coming up, and the way things move along and progress? Is this a date that has importance for you?
I've never thought about February 1. I've never looked at it like that. No birthdays that I know of in my family. But I think your point is well taken. In that the second half of conference play is when you probably should start kicking it in. And I've always said, at least I think I have, we want to be playing our best ball in February moving forward. So with that reason, I guess it does have some significance, but I've never thought of February 1. But when you break down seasons, we want to be good in November. We weren't very good in December. We were average in January at best, but February and March we need to be our best.
I think you said about Baylor on post-game radio that they're still trying to figure some things out in the same way you guys are. Young team, just what stands out to you about this edition of Baylor?
Well, I think obviously they've been nicked up. I talked to Scott probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he told me that their top 8 players have been together 8 times the whole year for practice, not even games. So I mean, they've been nicked. Langston Love has been out for a significant period of time. Now Roach has been, I guess in concussion protocol. They've got good guys. Wright has emerged as one of the best point guard prospects in the country. And I don't know if you guys seen, VJ Edgecombe was projected in the last mock draft to go 4. So they've got guys. The big fella from Miami, obviously we played against him a couple of years ago, but he's as impressive a transfer portal guy as there is from a numbers standpoint. So now they're doing things a little differently defensively. They're switching everything, at least they have been. and doing some different things, but I like their talent. They just hadn't, to me, they're a lot like us. When we've been good this year, we've been really good. When we haven't been good, there's been too big a drop off. And I'm sure Scott would probably say the same thing about them from a consistency standpoint, but they got good players, they're good. And they'll be very dangerous moving forward.
You mentioned Baylor's injuries. Just how's KJ doing after playing his first game back after 3 games?
He said he was sore. Now, we haven't practiced since Central Florida, so a lot of times you guys ask questions that I don't know the answers to. You guys probably think all the time that you ask questions to it, but I think that he is. I think he's fine, but sore. I think Juan will know more today. You know, we missed him a lot. I think that was pretty evident. But I hope that he's able to practice today. I've been told that he should be able to, maybe limited, but still should be able to practice. And KJ will practice today, but it'll be limited reps, I'm sure.
Looking back at the other night, I think there were 10 turnovers in the first half, just 2 in the second. What changed in the second half? Was it getting more comfortable playing without Dajuan? What kind of do you guys make tweaks? What changed?
We didn't sub. To be real, be candid with you, Diggy got off to a terrible start, but he made a shot or two, and that kind of kept him in it. In the second half, he played air-free for the most part offensively. I thought Zeke played more air-free the second half. I thought he played well because he scored the ball, but he probably could have made some better decisions. And then we played KJ, on the perimeter, which doesn't provide offensive firepower in many ways, but it does provide some stability. So that was probably it as much as anything. And that's not a knock to anybody else, but we didn't, the second half the other night, we basically, what we play, 7 guys, you throw Rylan in there and with KJ and Diggy. I mean, that's basically all we played the second half the other night.
And
What? Oh, go ahead.
just looking ahead, you said it's time for you guys to play your best. What is it going to take for you guys to get to that point where you feel like you're playing a complete game consistently?
Well, we played a complete game except for, 15 seconds against Houston. Guys, we're not going to play better than that against that opponent without one of your best players. I mean, we played well. We just didn't close. And I'm not making that's not an excuse. That's a fact. So I don't think that we're that far off of seeing some of those moments, but we haven't seen those moments consistent enough. I would say we need to get back to guarding how we guarded 3 weeks ago. We're not guarding the same way. That was very evident the other night against UCF, but we did guard pretty well against Houston. And if you look at the shots they made and how they were guarded compared to the shots that we missed and good looks, I would sell out for that, every game.
What did the tape show on KJ's defense on Hall on the big play?
The one where he turned it over, I thought he was retreating and even though he got to his left hand, he didn't let him get to the basket with his left hand. It was a slot drive, but I think KJ was retreating and did a good job on that. He played like a pro the other night. He was great, and Johnson was great too. And their big kid Thom, what did he make? 8 shots, and probably 6 of them were jumpers outside of 5 or 6 feet. Those are not analytically the best shots to take, but they were the best shots that night for them because he made them. I thought there were some things that we did better than what the score looked like, but certainly we don't win the game unless KJ plays. We wouldn't have won that game without KJ and Juan.
Yeah, I was wondering that also he hit the 2 free throws after maybe being rusty.
Yeah, he did. He made the free throws and he missed 3 or 4 of those little short floaters too. I think because he was rusty, but I thought KJ did great.
10 threes, could that be a sign of things to come? Or what do you think?
Well, 10 for 21. that's really good. If I'm not, what were 10 for 21? But you had the whole team go 0 for 3 minus 2 guys going 10 for 18. So you know, we got to be more consistent on that. I think the thing that bothered me most is that they made 14, and I really felt like that of the 14 they made, we probably did a decent job defensively on half of those. And no, they still threw in some bombs, but there was some open looks too.
Diggy was in here talking about KJ a minute ago. He said sometimes he could have 0 rebounds and it feels like he has 25. And
That's what a 5'8" guy says. Because he had 4 the other night, and I'm sure you
That
guys
felt like
saw
20.
the 12 I got, you know, so.
But that falls in line with what you've said about KJ and just the presence. I know you've had big time talents come through here, but have you had many guys like KJ that can just bring that from just pure presence, confidence, or whatever it is?
I think that we've had guys like that. I don't think we've had many guys that do as many little things that go unnoticed by and maybe unrespected by people as what KJ does. A sprint down the court to buy time so the guard can build out late to a 3-point shooter because KJ somehow was able to bluff or do something to buy time because the guard couldn't leave the hole yet. I mean, there's all kinds of things that he does that is pretty unnoticeable from a stat sheet standpoint, but go a long ways to helping your team win. So, you know, but Diggy's right to an extent, but you guys know as well as I do, we've had issues with KJ not rebounding the ball. But when he does rebound the ball, we're a different basketball team.
Who else maybe comes to mind that was close with those little unnoticed things that you don't have to think long, but
Wow. Anybody?
like Brady?
Somebody that Brady Morningstar would probably be a guy that you look at and say, God, he starts and he averages 7 points a game. And all he does, the ball moves, offense always flows better. What people didn't realize about Brady, he was our best defender every night. He had the best feet, and nobody would equate, you know, that to him. But yeah, there's others like that too. Landon Lucas was a great glue guy for us. That no matter what, you know, you can judge a big guy on how valuable he is. When he guards the other team's 5-man, do you have to trap the post? And he never had to once with Lando, which you know doesn't create rotation rebounding and other, you know, little things like that.
During times when Juan is not on the floor or otherwise unavailable, what do you need to see from Shaq when he's playing point guard?
Well, I'd like to see him play with, you know, be real candid with you, I'd like to see him play with a lot more energy. I thought the other day, now granted, his foot's sore. So you know, let's cut him a little slack on that for sure. But I didn't think he was engaged defensively or offensively the other night. There was a period of time to start that game that Zeke asked to come out by the first time out. Before the first time out, he asked to come out. And if you go back and watch it, he and Hunter were the only two that touched the ball on offense. They were just playing 2-man game off each other the whole time because the other guys didn't get involved, and that's the kind of stuff he can't do. He's got to be more engaged. But I don't think he felt well either the other night, but just didn't say anything.
Speaking of defense, your numbers after a pretty large sample size are looking pretty good. Kim Palm's got your ring way up there.
I think we're 5th, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yesterday or today or something.
And
like that.
now a legit rim protector. Can this team be a defensive team that reminds you of some of those great ones you had?
I think that we can. I think that even with the great teams that we've had defensively, other than Doak, who have we really had that was an elite shot blocker? And I'm not sure Doak was an elite shot blocker, but Flory is. I think that we can be. It's just probably we're not as consistent in how we were really good defensively in the past. This is who we are. This is our fastball. Try to score against it. Now it's like, well, if Hunter's in the game, we got to do something this way. If Flory's in the game at the 5, we'll do something that way. You know, how do we plug all of them in? And we need Juan to be part of that, and we need Shaq to be, as I spoke to a little bit ago. But we've shown that we can guard. We just don't do it as consistently well. That's got to be something that's continue to be emphasized every day. But yeah, it could be one of our better defensive teams, Dave, without question.
Coach, after watching back the film on the 3 big lineup, what'd you like out of that, and are we going to see more of that going forward?
I thought it was our best defensive team. So, but even with that being said, the best defensive team would have put KJ on Hall. Well, that makes Flory guard a guard, and that's not our best defensive team. So there's some things that we have to work on and tweak. But I think it was our best defensive team. And to be honest with you, KJ, regardless of stretching the defense, he allows us to be a better ball handling team in the half court. So, and I thought it was our toughest team. So with that being said, could we see some of that moving forward? Absolutely, but I don't know if that's what you want to hang your hat on and be your calling card each and every night.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right.